At this very moment, as you settle into the relative quiet of your own space, an unseen and incredibly potent force is actively seeking a channel to reach you. A being of pure, dedicated light, your designated spiritual guide. This entity is tirelessly attempting to penetrate the dense veil of our physical reality, striving to establish a clear line of communication. The astonishing reality is that most of humanity remains completely oblivious to this constant, loving endeavor. What we are about to explore transcends simple philosophy. It will systematically disassemble your current, limited perspective on life, death, and consciousness, opening your mind to an interdimensional truth that has been operating around and within you since the day you were born, often without your conscious acknowledgement or consent. Visionary minds and documented observers of the spiritual realm, such as the renowned educator Allan Kardec, meticulously codified this science over a century and a half ago, recording the principles of communication with startling precision and intellectual rigor. Following his groundwork, spiritual giants like the medium Chico Xavier provided overwhelming verifiable evidence, demonstrating this connection by channeling thousands of pages of text and personal letters directly from a higher plane. Furthermore, the wisdom shared by Edgar Cayce, the so-called sleeping prophet, corroborated these interdimensional realities through thousands of psychic readings that systematically challenged the boundaries of all purely materialistic logic and understanding. Have you ever been seized by that profound, inexplicable sense of presence right beside you? That unshakable inner certainty that you are not, in fact, alone, even when you are physically isolated and deep solitude seems to encompass your very soul? Perhaps you have been the recipient of intensely vivid and almost tactile dreams, featuring people you have dearly loved who have since passed away, dreams so emotionally charged and real that they left an undeniable, lingering impression upon your awakened spirit. If you can answer yes to any of these deep personal experiences, then you must prepare yourself. The profound truths you are about to discover will not merely confirm or validate these fleeting moments, but they will equip you with the essential knowledge and practical keys needed to finally comprehend the mechanisms behind them and, more importantly, to actively utilize this divine connection for your ongoing moral and spiritual advancement. In the extensive narrative that follows, we will comprehensively unpack the three primary and most common signals your spiritual guides employ to bridge the gap and contact you directly. Delve into the extraordinary, documented cases of spiritual intercession that irrefutably prove the existence of this life beyond, and most crucially, we will detail the specific, infallible technique taught by Allan Kardec himself, a sophisticated method for you to recognize, without any shadow of a doubt, when the spiritual world is actively seeking your attention and attempting to communicate. The nature of the spiritual guardian and the divine mandate. Before we can successfully navigate the methods of spiritual communication, it is absolutely essential that you internalize a core foundational truth that completely re-engineers your understanding of your own life's journey. According to the foundational revelations that form the bedrock of Spiritism, meticulously recorded by Allan Kardec in his seminal work, The Spirit's Book, specifically in the answer to question 459, he unveiled a doctrine of profound consequence. Every single human being, from the exact moment of their first breath into this world, is assigned, at a bare minimum, one dedicated protecting spirit. This is not some arbitrary lesser entity. This being is, by definition, an entity of superior light and elevated moral stature, a celestial guardian who accompanies you with unflagging patience and devotion throughout the entirety of your temporary earthly existence. The assigned mission of this guide is far from trivial or passive. It is of paramount, vital importance. They are here specifically to inspire and propel your intellectual and spiritual evolution, constantly urging you toward the realization of your maximum inherent potential, and critically, to shield and protect you from moral dangers, pitfalls, and the subtle, often unseen traps that your still limited earthly perception cannot even begin to imagine or detect. This guide acts as a mentor and an older sibling, gently steering you toward the highest moral choices and away from actions that would incur unnecessary karmic debt or retard your spiritual progress. The tragedy, however, lies in a little-known truth that keeps the immense majority of humanity locked in a state of spiritual unconsciousness and isolation. Most people navigate their entire lives in complete functional ignorance of this divine, constant companionship. This state of affairs is best illustrated by the metaphor of having a high-priority telephone ringing ceaselessly with urgent and life-altering messages, but because you are unaware of its existence, you never once pick up the receiver, allowing the vital calls, the essential guidance to go entirely unheard. Chico Xavier, through his extraordinary mediumship spanning 6 decades, repeatedly transcribed messages that vividly confirmed the continuous observation and active intervention of these spirit guides. In the book Nosso Lar, Our Home, the spirit André Louise offers detailed and often striking descriptions of how, from their elevated spiritual plane, these beings observe their protected charges on Earth without a moment's lapse. They incessantly send subtle inspirational impulses that possess the power to radically shift your destiny, transmit clear warnings that can save you from moral or material ruin, and offer a deep, transcendent consolation that has the capacity to heal even the deepest emotional and spiritual wounds inflicted by earthly life. The guide's protective influence, Kardec emphasized, operates primarily through moral influence and suggestion, appealing to your reason and conscience, never through brute force or the violation of the sacred principle of free will. They are with you, but they do not command you, they counsel you. Their love is a patient, unwavering light in the face of your most profound darkness, the silent surge of intuition and sudden thought. We now turn our attention to the first, and often the most subtle and easily dismissed form of communication, the phenomenon of sudden, unexpected thoughts, or powerful intuition. This is the primary and most accessible channel that our spiritual guides employ to penetrate the density of your physical reality and directly interact with your conscious mind. Consider deeply those moments in your life when you were standing at a monumental crossroads, poised to make a transcendental decision with every fiber of your conscious being and logical analysis, pointing decisively in one specific direction. Then, without any discernible internal or external trigger, a completely different idea, a compelling, almost overwhelming intuitive feeling surges into your mind, abruptly forcing you to halt, reconsider, and reevaluate everything. This moment of uninvited mental intervention is often the direct, subtle action of your spiritual guide. The seer Edgar Cayce, through his thousands of documented readings, provided extensive explanatory depth on this phenomenon. He clarified that our guides operate fundamentally through the mechanism of intuition, carefully implanting ideas that are intrinsically beneficial to your highest spiritual good directly into your receptive mind, particularly when you are in a state of quiet contemplation or open receptivity. These thoughts do not originate from your own past experience or intellectual reasoning. They possess a distinct flavor of external, yet benign wisdom. Allan Kardec, further refining this understanding in the Medium's book, particularly in chapter 19, elaborates that superior spirits deliberately choose to act upon our thoughts in this delicate, non-invasive manner, carefully ensuring they never violate the core principle of our moral autonomy and free will. They understand with infinite wisdom that a direct, forceful imposition of their will or a spectacular, undeniable manifestation would undermine your true moral and spiritual growth. The purpose of life, as revealed through the spirits, is the continuous development of the spirit through the exercise of free will and responsibility. Therefore, the guides only offer suggestions, never commands. They whisper the truth to your soul, knowing that the greatest spiritual progress is achieved when you freely and consciously choose the path of righteousness and light, making the inspired thought your own. Recognizing the source of these sudden, wise promptings is the first active step toward engaging in a dialogue with your guide, the soul's nightly liberation and the school of dreams. The second, and one of the most common and direct conduits for communication from the spiritual realm, takes place during the profound stillness of your nightly rest. When the physical body is surrendered to sleep, your embodied spirit enters a state of partial disengagement from its dense material shell, a process that temporarily liberates it from the restrictive physical limitations of the earthly plane. This liberation allows for a communication far more fluid, direct, and intimate with other planes of existence, and the spirits who inhabit them. The respected medium and spiritual speaker Divaldo Franco frequently draws upon the spiritual understanding of the perispirit, the semi-material, fluidic envelope that acts as the essential link connecting your immortal spirit to your physical body. Franco explains that during the state of sleep, this perispirit acquires an amplified degree of freedom and elasticity, which makes it far more receptive to the direct reception of guidance, instruction, and emotional comfort from the spiritual world. This explains why countless individuals report experiencing dreams of astonishing clarity, intensity, and reality, featuring departed family members, dreams that bring with them messages of profound peace, deep love, essential warnings, or invaluable orientation. During this nightly spiritual emancipation, the perispirit can even travel to spiritual colonies, attend courses, or meet with its guide and other spirit companions to review the experiences of the day and plan the challenges of the next. Allan Kardec documented the significance of these spiritual excursions during sleep, explaining that this is a period of vital renewal and instruction, a time when your spirit reconnects with its true, non-physical reality. Consequently, you may wake with a sudden flash of insight, a feeling of resolution, or an emotion that directly relates to the profound communication your spirit received while your body slept. These are not merely random brain firings, they are the tangible residual impressions of a deliberate direct meeting with your guides and other loving spirits on the higher plane. The spiritual world uses your sleep as a planned classroom and a refuge from the heavy vibrations of the physical world. The divine choreography of synchronicities. Now let us prepare to explore the third and perhaps the most surprising signal, the one that will compel you to completely reevaluate every seemingly random coincidence that has ever occurred in your life. This third sign is the deliberate spiritual orchestration of meaningful coincidences, a phenomenon often referred to as synchronicities. What exactly are these? They are those seemingly casual events, those perfectly timed accidents or strange overlaps that manifest at the exact crucial moment to deliver necessary help, offer timely protection, or teach you an unavoidable vital lesson. Have you ever been in desperate need of a particular piece of information, a rare book or a specific contact, only to have it suddenly appear in a completely unexpected place, or be mentioned by a complete stranger precisely when your need was most acute? Or have you unexpectedly crossed paths with the exact person, the one who held the key to your next career move, spiritual breakthrough, or emotional healing, at the precisely right moment in time and space? Consider those moments when your carefully constructed plans were inexplicably cancelled, only for you to later discover that this seemingly frustrating cancellation saved you from imminent, serious harm or financial loss. These, my dear friend, are not the products of blind chance or simple statistical probability. They are direct, loving interventions, meticulously coordinated by beings who love you with an unconditional, eternal love and who operate from a dimensional perspective far superior to our limited three-dimensional view. Chico Xavier received innumerable communications from his principal guide, the Spirit Emmanuel, who vividly described how from the spiritual plane, these crucial encounters, life-saving delays, and pivotal situations are orchestrated and coordinated with astonishing meticulousness in your earthly life. In the book The Consoler, Emmanuel explicitly reveals that there is an entire, highly organized spiritual hierarchy working tirelessly and without rest to create opportunities for moral growth, to deliver comfort, and to provide systematic protection for all of us who are currently embodied. Once you begin to recognize these patterns, once you consciously start to acknowledge and give thanks for the presence and assistance of your spiritual guides, the communication immediately becomes more frequent, the signals clearer, and their presence more undeniable, reinforcing the power of conscious gratitude as a powerful spiritual antenna. The principle of non-interference and free will. Before proceeding to the active steps of communication, it is paramount that we firmly anchor our understanding of the fundamental ethical constraint governing all spiritual interaction, the principle of non-interference with free will. Allan Kardec, in his tireless pursuit of knowledge, asked the higher spirits a crucial logical question. If they are so powerful and loving, why do they not communicate with us, the incarnated, in a more self-evident, overt, and undeniably spectacular manner? Why the subtlety? The profound and illuminating response, recorded in question 282 of the Spirit's book, is a revelation that demands our deepest reflection and acceptance. The Spirits explained that if they were to constantly assist us in an ostensible, obvious manner, we would never be forced to develop our own inherent moral and intellectual strength. Furthermore, the perpetual, visible manifestation of their power would inevitably destroy our most sacred possession, our moral freedom, because we would always act under the overwhelming influence or fear of their presence. This constraint is not a display of caprice or indifference. It is the ultimate testament to infinite divine wisdom and respect for the law of progress. Your spiritual guides operate with a sublime delicacy, providing subtle aid and necessary inspiration without ever crossing the line of directly interfering with your inherent process of learning, character development, and spiritual evolution. Consider again the loving father teaching his child to walk. He will certainly protect the child from a truly catastrophic fall, but he allows the necessary stumbles and minor tumbles that are essential for the child to develop their own sense of balance, their own muscular coordination, and ultimately, their own strength and independence. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, confirmed this same spiritual teaching through his thousands of psychic life readings. He explained that spiritual help is always proportional to the soul's genuine need, and crucially, to its own sincere efforts. Your guides assist you, but they will never do for you what you have the capacity to do for yourself. This subtle action ensures that every single achievement is truly yours, contributing directly and permanently to the elevation of your eternal spirit. The eternal perspective of the Spirit Guide. Edgar Cayce provided a crucial layer of context that perfectly complements the teachings of Spiritism, granting them an even more overwhelming and eternal depth. In his extensive readings, Cayce explained that our spiritual guides are not newly assigned acquaintances. They have frequently been with us through multiple past lives. They are evolved, luminous beings who have already progressed far beyond our current stage and have chosen, out of profound, selfless love and enlightened wisdom, to pause their own rapid ascent to help us navigate our more challenging process of spiritual refinement and moral ascent. This revelation means that your profound relationship with your spiritual guides is not limited by the artificial constraints of time or the physical limitations of space. They possess a complete panoramic knowledge of your entire spiritual history. They are intimately familiar with your recurring karmic patterns, your most deeply ingrained character tendencies, your strengths, and the particular moral weaknesses you have accumulated over countless existences and multiple incarnations. It is precisely because of this eternal perspective and deep-seated knowledge that their guidance is so remarkably accurate, insightful, and profoundly effective when you are finally ready to listen and follow it. They know the entire blueprint of your soul. Cayce stressed that every soul has a specific, highly detailed plan for each new incarnation, and our spiritual guides know this plan perfectly. They are aware of the precise experiences you need to have, the key people you must encounter, and the exact, often difficult lessons you are scheduled to learn in order to progress. Therefore, you can place your complete and utter trust in their guidance, resting in the absolute knowledge that everything that befalls you, even the most painful challenges, has an ultimate educational and evolutionary purpose designed for your ultimate spiritual good. The most difficult experiences are not punishments, but rather highly specific, custom-designed exercises intended to forge in you such necessary qualities as unwavering patience, profound compassion, liberating forgiveness, and unbreakable spiritual fortitude. The different degrees of spiritual communication. Allan Kardec, in his rigorous analysis documented in the Medium's book, meticulously categorized the various degrees of spiritual communication, ranging from the most subtle and fleeting up to the most evident and palpable manifestations. He explained that the vast majority of people consistently receive communications of the first degree, spontaneous inspirations, powerful intuitions, unexplained but accurate presentiments, and spiritually significant, often symbolic, dreams. These are the gentle nudges intended to guide the masses without disrupting their autonomy. However, a select number of individuals, due to a naturally inherent or conscientiously developed mediumistic faculty, are capable of receiving communications of a much more direct, tangible and conscious nature. Chico Xavier stands as a supreme, extraordinary example of this advanced, conscious and controlled mediumship. For more than 6 decades, he served as a pure, immaculate instrument, a clear channel, through which thousands of spirits successfully communicated with their embodied relatives. His psychographed letters and books did more than simply bring immediate comfort to broken hearts. They offered detailed divine guidance and, most importantly, provided irrefutable objective proof of the spirit's survival beyond physical death. The most enduring characteristic of all these authentic, elevated messages is that without a single exception, they invariably possessed a high, noble purpose: to educate the incarnate, to console the suffering, and to morally uplift humanity. In the book Letters from a Dead Woman, psychographed by Xavier, the spirit Maria Juan de Deus tenderly describes how, from the spiritual world, she observes and guides her embodied family members. She movingly explains that every tear shed out of true love, every sincere prayer offered with devotion, and every act of disinterested kindness performed on earth reaches them as a tangible ray of light, a source of immense spiritual joy. This essential truth leads us to a fundamental understanding that is deeply liberating. Our departed loved ones are neither lost, absent, nor forgotten. They continue their existence in a vibrant dimension that is parallel and interconnected with our own, the power of elevated vibration and spiritual harmony. This principle of survival brings us to the profound realization that under specific conditions, you possess the inherent power to communicate with your dear departed loved ones, as codified in the Spiritist teachings. How is this possible? It is achieved primarily through sincere, heartfelt prayer, through the maintenance of loving thought directed toward them, and most critically, by cultivating a consistently high moral conduct that permits them to approach and interact with your personal sphere of influence. Consider this carefully. Inferior spirits, those still clinging to the dense, low vibrations of hatred, vengeance, addiction, and persistently negative thoughts, are automatically attracted and drawn into that same, corresponding vibrational frequency. Conversely, elevated spirits, which include your devoted guides and your loving dear family members who have passed on, are only drawn to and capable of approaching higher, more refined frequencies. These higher vibrations are generated by pure, unconditional love, profound gratitude, genuine forgiveness, selfless charity, and pure, devoted prayer. Divaldo Franco teaches that when you consciously elevate your thoughts and your deepest sentiments, you are actively creating a perfect spiritual syntony, a specific frequency that facilitates and allows the benevolent approximation of these luminous beings. It is analogous to carefully tuning a radio receiver to a specific frequency to successfully lock onto a clear, harmonious, and interference-free station. If your inner state is tumultuous, self-centered, or morally compromised, the only spirits you will be able to attract or perceive are those who resonate with that same low density. Therefore, the active cultivation of your inner moral and emotional life is not merely an ethical choice. It is the single most powerful technique for opening and maintaining a secure, pure line of communication with your spiritual benefactors. The quality of your inner life determines the quality of your spiritual surroundings and contacts. The extraordinary case of the orchestrated rescue. To demonstrate the immense and tangible power of this conscious spiritual connection, we must delve into an extraordinary, documented case that will challenge your belief in the purely coincidental. In 1938, a Brazilian family found themselves teetering on the precipice of ruin. The father had been suddenly dismissed from his employment. Crushing debts were asphyxiating them financially, and one of their children was gravely and hopelessly ill, with all material resources exhausted. The mother, a woman grounded in deep faith and familiar with the teachings of Spiritism, began to pray daily with unshakable devotion, specifically and sincerely imploring her spiritual guide for explicit orientation and assistance. For an entire week, she experienced the exact same repetitive and intensely vivid dream. A luminous, benevolent figure consistently appeared to her, showing her a very specific house in a neighborhood she barely knew, and explicitly instructing her to go there on a predetermined day and at a precise hour. Though the request seemed utterly strange and entirely disconnected from her immediate problems, a strong internal conviction and voice compelled her to follow the divine instruction. Upon arriving at the exact location specified in her recurring dream, she encountered an elderly woman who had just placed a sign outside her home seeking a responsible, honest family to care for her substantial property while she embarked on an extended journey. The elderly woman required precisely the range of services that this desperate family could offer: meticulous care of the house, the garden, and her domestic animals. But the truly extraordinary aspect of this synchronization did not end there. The elderly woman, it turned out, was a recently retired pharmacist who, upon learning of the desperate situation of the sick child, not only provided the necessary rare medication free of charge, but also immediately connected the family with a highly specialized physician who graciously agreed to treat the little boy without any financial cost. This family experienced, in the most direct and tangible way possible, how our spiritual guides can and will orchestrate seemingly impossible, multifaceted situations to rescue us in moments of extreme existential need. But the key to this intervention, as Kardec explained, lies not just in the prayer, but in maintaining an unyielding faith, a deep sense of gratitude in the heart, and most crucially, ensuring that the intentions are entirely pure and the heart is open to receiving and utilizing the good provided, the distinction between want and need. This profound example leads us to a crucial distinction articulated by Allan Kardec in the Spirit's book, the difference between what we want and what we genuinely need. Kardec explained that our spiritual guides possess an absolute, comprehensive knowledge of our real underlying necessities, not our superficial, temporal whims or desires. They see the entire vast panorama of our existence, encompassing all past, present, and future incarnations, and they know precisely which experiences, challenges, and lessons you require for your true spiritual growth and purification, even if in the immediacy of the moment you cannot possibly comprehend their necessity. This is why sometimes, or perhaps often, your sincere prayers are seemingly not answered in the precise manner you had anticipated or demanded. It is never because your guides fail to hear you. It is because their infinitely superior wisdom allows them to clearly discern between what you desire in the moment and what you genuinely require for your long-term, eternal evolution. Edgar Cayce similarly taught that our temporary material desires are often in direct spiritual conflict with our eternal spiritual necessities. Your spiritual guides will always, without exception, prioritize the growth and perfection of your immortal soul above your passing, temporary physical comfort or material gain. This principle does not instruct you to passively resign yourself to chronic suffering or inescapable scarcity. Rather, it demands that you cultivate a profound, absolute trust in the superior wisdom of beings who love you with a perfect, boundless love, and who possess a vision that extends far beyond the limited scope of what your physical eyes are capable of perceiving. They know that sometimes the greatest gift is the challenge itself, which forces the necessary permanent spiritual change within you. The complete technique for conscious communication. We have arrived at the core practical instruction, the complete method developed by Allan Kardec after years of methodical, deep investigation and collaboration with the most elevated spirits, designed to enable you to establish a conscious, secure, and unmistakable communication with your spiritual guides. This comprehensive technique is structured upon three fundamental pillars, practical principles that every individual, regardless of their current spiritual development, can apply to open this sacred and necessary channel. The first pillar is the rigorous purification of environment and thought. Before engaging in any genuine attempt at spiritual communication, it is absolutely imperative that you consciously and actively create a sanctified space, a sanctuary of profound peace and harmony around yourself. This mandate extends beyond mere physical tidiness. It demands that you eliminate every possible distraction, that you disconnect all electronic devices that constantly tether you to the trivial noise and frantic vibrations of the world, and most critically, that you purify your own internal thoughts of any negative, critical, or low-frequency vibration that could contaminate the clarity and purity of the channel. Chico Xavier, with absolute consistency, began every single one of his mediumistic sessions with explicit, heartfelt prayers of thanksgiving and requests for clear protection from the superior spirits. He taught that sincere prayer is not a mere supplication. It is an act of spiritual alignment, functioning like a powerful, luminous beacon that instantly attracts elevated beings and automatically repels all negative or less evolved influences. The second pillar is the unwavering establishment of the correct and noble intention. Allan Kardec emphasized with tremendous force that you must never, under any circumstances, seek spiritual communication driven by mere idle curiosity or for the shallow purpose of obtaining selfish material advantages. Communication with the spiritual world must always be predicated on an explicitly elevated purpose, a noble objective, your honest moral growth, seeking genuine transcendent comfort in the face of profound sorrow, or receiving clear ethical guidance on how to better and more effectively serve your fellow human beings. Superior spirits will only consent to communicate when they clearly perceive an unshakable sincerity and purity in your stated intentions, and when they know with certainty that the communication will authentically contribute to your own spiritual progress or the welfare of others. The third and final pillar is the essential practice of patience and unfailing perseverance. Spiritual communication is not a guaranteed instantaneous telephone connection. It requires significant time investment, unwavering dedication, consistent and daily practice, and, above all, the gradual systematic development of your latent spiritual sensitivity. Divaldo Franco frequently observes that many individuals abandon the attempt after only a few sporadic trials because they are mistakenly expecting spectacular, immediate, and ostensible manifestations. However, genuine high-level spiritual communication develops slowly, organically, like a flower that unfurls petal by patient petal. It begins with small, subtle intuitions, gentle but persistent promptings, and meaningful dreams. Only with time and the correct, pure practice does this communication grow to become clearer and more consistently felt, but it will always, by divine law, maintain its subtle nature, respectful of your sovereign free will, the glorious destiny and the eternal plan. Herein lies the most beautiful promise of the Spiritist doctrine, the profound truth that should fill your entire being with hope, purpose, and unyielding self-respect. Every single one of us has been designated an ultimate glorious destiny, the attainment of spiritual perfection. It matters not how far you may currently believe yourself to be from this sublime ideal. It matters not the volume of errors or mistakes you may have committed in your past. Your spiritual guides possess a perfect, profound knowledge of your inherent divine potential, the untouchable spark of God residing within you, and they are working with tireless patience and infinite compassion to help you manifest it. Every single difficulty, challenge, or apparent setback you encounter in life is never a punishment, but is rather a carefully calibrated supreme opportunity for necessary growth and moral strengthening. Every sorrow or deep pain you successfully overcome is never wasted or in vain. It works to permanently forge and strengthen your character. Every act of true, disinterested love you practice moves you one vital step closer to manifesting your true, divine, spiritual nature. Allan Kardec taught us that the principle of reincarnation is the most sublime expression of divine justice and infinite mercy. We are all granted countless, successive opportunities to learn the fundamental lessons, to correct and repair past errors, and to systematically develop the virtues and moral qualities that we still lack. And in every single one of these physical existences, your spiritual guides are faithfully there, accompanying you with an infinite, unwavering, and unconditional love. This profound truth allows you to fully and completely trust in their silent, persistent orientation, knowing with certainty that everything that unfolds in your life, even the experiences you currently perceive as negative or difficult, has a transcendent, educational, and evolutionary purpose. This knowledge transforms you from a victim of circumstance into a conscious, empowered student in the vast school of spiritual evolution, with your guides acting as your most loving, patient, and wise teachers. They never abandon you, they never judge your past, and they never, for a moment, lose faith in your ultimate potential for perfection. The ability to communicate with them is not an exclusive privilege reserved for a select few. It is a natural, inherent right of every single incarnated soul that sincerely seeks to grow spiritually and desires to serve their brothers and sisters in humanity more effectively and purely. Your spiritual guide is seeking your attention, speaking to you, even at this very moment. The subtle yet persistent signs are all around you. You now possess the essential knowledge required to recognize and interpret them. Do not deceive yourself. The challenges you currently face are not a reflection of cosmic punishment, but they are, in reality, opportunities for profound spiritual growth, carefully customized and designed for your specific soul. Every single sorrow you successfully transcend strengthens you in ways you cannot possibly imagine in your present state. And every act of true, selfless love you perform, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem, is a direct, measurable step toward realizing your ultimate, true divine nature. Reincarnation, as taught by Allan Kardec, is the greatest testament to the sublime justice and boundless mercy of God, offering us countless chances to learn, to correct, and to develop the virtues that are still incomplete within us. In every one of these lives, your guides are there, accompanying you with infinite, dedicated, and unconditional love. Begin today, not tomorrow, to consciously pay attention to the subtle cues and synchronicities in your environment. Take a moment to mentally and sincerely thank your spiritual guides for their constant, silent presence. Consciously request their enlightened guidance in all your important decisions. Resolve to keep your heart perpetually open to the reception of pure love, and your mind highly receptive to the assimilation of superior wisdom. You will observe how your life gradually begins to transform, not necessarily in terms of fleeting material gain, but in something infinitely more precious and enduring. Deep inner peace, an unshakable sense of clear purpose, and the glorious capacity to love unconditionally, because this is the single greatest desire of your spiritual guides, that you fully discover the divinity that resides within your core and manifest it fully through every single one of your thoughts, words, and actions.